Hey, welcome back. Mark Deal here. I've been a software engineer for well over 10 years now. I've been employed for about 5 years, and I've also been doing freelance work for more than 5 years now. And at the same time, I'm trying to work and build something for myself. And today, I want to talk about what we can do with our careers as a software engineer and what kind of lifestyle we can achieve with those. Because we have different options where we can progress our careers as a software engineer. And at some point, we have to think about this so we can match it with our goals in life with our limited time. Let's start with being an entrepreneur as a software engineer. This means that you'll be putting in time, effort, money into developing your own products, be it apps, services, or other income streams that later can be full-fledged businesses like Instagram and Uber, for example, whose founders are engineers. But it's not just apps. Nowadays, a lot of software engineers are making profit by teaching developers or non-developers how to code. A good example here is Andre. If you don't know him, he's a self-taught programmer, and he worked his way to be a senior software engineer. And now he uses experiences and knowledge to start creating courses for different technologies. He first started off by uploading his courses in Udemy, an online course platform. Then he pivoted from just creating tech courses in Udemy. He started his own brand, his own product, his own business, the Zero to Mastery Academy, in which now he is the founder and he is now getting other amazing instructors to join him. Another example of making a business from your experiences as a software engineer is by creating YouTube videos. Here we know a lot of engineers who shares their knowledge and create some tutorials. Then later on, they advertise and sell their own products as well. So now we've seen a few examples of engineers turning into entrepreneurs. Now, what kind of lifestyle do these people have in common? So I myself is in the midst of this experience. I am in between developing my own product and creating YouTube videos. So technically, I'm trying to work for myself. Check what can work for me, what is viable, and what I can achieve. Is this lifestyle for me? This is what I've experienced. It is definitely more stressful than freelance work or being employed, especially on the early phases. There's always this feeling that I need to get up, I need to do something in order to make the product grow, or the need to create a new video every week. It is very different from freelance work or being an employee, since on the weekend you can rest, and at the start of each week you just have a set of tasks that you need to do. Here you need to produce your own features for your app or a content for your video and really think about it before you can even grind. In short, work does not come to you. You need to produce the work you need to do. And this takes a lot of time and you need motivation. Instead of just resting for the weekend, playing games, watching movies, you need to think of something and do it. Otherwise, nothing will happen to your venture and you won't progress. Also, whatever I'm currently doing right now won't necessarily generate me income. So I needed to be prepared for this financially, besides of already putting up some investments in the venture that may not yield anything in the end. So I need to be good with money in order to keep afloat. I also have no guidance nor support from a teammate. If needed, I'll need to hire some extra hands to do some testing of the app or do some basic video editing. But for now, I just decided to do this on my own since I'm just starting out. But later on, if the venture grows, as an entrepreneur, I'll need to manage some people for other things like sales and marketing, so you'll need people management skills here. Another important thing here for me is planning your growth, setting up your goals and tasks. This means allocating more time for my venture than on my freelance work to be able to put more time on my personal brand. This means more work than ever compared to freelance or being employed with much greater risks. So you really need to think about it if you are ready for this. But the sense of accomplishment for the results of all the tasks you did for yourself, not for another person or a company, is really something that can really push you to work more for yourself. Let's go to the freelancer's lifestyle. This means you'll be rendering your professional services to a variety of clients. Getting a client and being a freelancer starts out mostly by you, the freelancer, initiating some projects or contracts. So you send out your specialized profile for each of these clients and projects together with the cover letter explaining how you can be able to solve their specific problems or requirements. You are then screened against all the other freelancers bidding. Then you get accepted here as one that can solve the problem and not an employee to be trained. You are kind of expected here to already know the technologies needed to be able to solve the problem. So if you have solid experiences already, this will greatly benefit you as a freelancer. Usually, there are no hard technical interviews here, unless you are going for long-term contracts on some fairly large companies. In freelancing, you could be easily replaced. There's not much commitment on getting you. So generally, you just need to perform well on your tasks and deliver. I've been freelancing for some years now, and here's my take on it. First, the earning is great. You could potentially earn more if you work more hours. If you're planning to change your tech stack, for example, and currently you're in a full stack JavaScript role and you want to work with Go or Rust, Then you can look for those new projects and try to get the contract. Then later on, you can work less more hours on your current contracts if you have one. Next, as a freelancer, you manage your own time. So you can decide when you will start working for the day. Like, you don't need to wake up early. Prepare yourself, get ready for work, and all that stuff. You also get that extra more time that you would normally spend time in commuting, getting to the office, and some other events that you are forced to attend when you are in a company. Me, I wake up just at the right time when my body is ready, and I start working after I finish all the other important stuff that I need to take care of. Because I can really balance my time and set how many hours I'll be working for the week, just as long as I can still able to deliver and finish some tasks for my client. You can also work anywhere. I mostly just work at home. Sometimes I go to cafes or co-working spaces. But other freelancers travel and be the digital nomad that they have been dreaming of. And that is really possible. That sounds fun and all, but a freelancer is really about managing time. I really need the time to train myself every now and then, learn new technologies and languages, and you'll need to pay that for yourself. This is because you want to be prepared with the new skills for your current projects and your succeeding projects. But of course, there will be times that you will really need to grind and extend time working, especially when you're handling a much more complex project wherein you haven't tackled the problem previously, and of course, you need to deliver these requirements at any cost. This happened to me a couple of times already, and it's just part of the process of software development. It can happen to your own business, your own app, or if you are employed, your employer set deadline. You also don't have someone to help you or guide you on doing things. You are a freelancer and you will be solving most of the problems independently. Be it using the best practice if you already know how to do it, or the craziest way if you have no idea but just to make it work. You'll also need to deal with the downtimes wherein you have no project, so you need to be sure you're not blowing your income every month and you have an emergency fund for a few months. Another important one for a freelancer is that you need a great motivation. You'll need to motivate yourself because first of all, no one is watching you, no one is forcing you to work, and you will get easily distracted by anything. Especially when you're home, you might have your family there, or you get easily distracted by playing those games and your hobbies and whatnot. Then it's not just programming that you need to take care of. As a freelancer, you need to take care of your bookkeeping and other non-development related tasks. I personally spend a whole day sometimes just to take care of this task. This is just something extra that you need to take note of. And lastly, something that I don't mind at all, but maybe to you, is the lack of social interaction for being a freelance remote software engineer. So if you are that person who finds interacting with people physically in day-to-day is helpful to your well-being, then this is something to consider. And you might find it boring because you're just sitting all day and just using Zoom and Slack for communication. But there's some ways to handle this. There's these co-working spaces that you can go to and you can work around with other people if you like that. For me, being a freelancer has worked great so far and has been really flexible for my needs. And I have other videos with more details and tips on working as a freelance software engineer. You can also check that out if you are interested more on this lifestyle. Now let's go to everyone's favorite, being employed. This means you're working for a startup, a medium-sized company, or those big tech companies. This is where you go up the ranks from junior engineer, mid-level, senior level, staff software engineer, or managerial position while working for long years and helping the company grow. Your income is easily secured where you are still working for the company, but it is capped and it might be hard to get an increase. I've been employed for about 5 years before. Getting employed starts by sending your resume and having interviews. Interview type can vary from company to company, but in all cases, just be prepared and be at your best. With so many companies out there hiring software engineers, it won't take long for you to get one. I worked with some startups here in the Philippines, and one of the best things I experienced was working with my team. It was a real tight-knit group because the startup was at the beginning phase and it was relatively small. But with our team, we really could depend with each other at all costs, at all times, and it was really amazing. This is by far one of the things working in a company that I will never forget. Definitely what I miss the most as a freelancer. It is a good starting point for entry-level developers. This is the place where you can learn the basics of software development and how to work with people. And mostly everyone will experience this due to the internship program. If you like the product that your company is developing, then it is a good sign to stay for a while and learn how to build it, test it, release it, and maintain it. This will give you the experience that you need for the next steps in your career. For me, I took it as an opportunity to learn a new language that they were using and gain more experience using databases. The company also provided me with training materials and training sessions all for free. Not only that, plus free premium health insurance, paid vacation and sick leaves, and they will take care of all of the paperwork and the bookkeeping. All these benefits now are not available to me now as a freelancer. You are also surrounded by teams of professionals in your field where you could easily exchange information and collaborate with. So it is easier to stay updated and motivated at times. But it is also stressful and can be really hard times as an employee. I experienced a lot of crunch times, overtimes that does not get paid. I barely spent time with my family back then. We were always in the office and several times we were sleeping in the office and at times we pulled some all-nighters there. So it could be really rough as you don't have any other options or else the project will fail and you are all doomed. I was also mandated to finish my 8 hours even though I'm done with my tasks. And basically I'm just waiting for the time before I can go or else I get a visit from the HR. Time will come that you will get bored of your tasks or your tech stack and learning a new one would be difficult because it differs from the technology your company is using. Then this is the time that most people hop onto another company. There we go, 3 types of career that software engineers can get into. But what is the best? The best, of course, is the one that fits your lifestyle and your goals. Currently, the best for me is a mixture of freelance and entrepreneurship. I'm still a freelancer to balance the effects of being an entrepreneur where you need some form of investments and funds to start off. Also trying to be an entrepreneur because I'm in the stage right now where I want to figure out what else can work for me and what else can I do with my skills. It is trying to answer my question, can I develop something for myself? Can I build my own brand? Or do I have what it takes? And the only answer for this is to try it. As for being an employee, would I try to be employed again? Well, it could still likely happen because I have yet to apply to a top tech company and see how things there work. I also wanted to be exposed on these larger, much more complex problems that I might get to see in those companies and learn the best practices there and try to help solve that problem. But time is short and limited, so we need to act fast and choose carefully the path to try the things that we want in life so we won't have any regrets later on. And see you on the next one.